Hallo und willkommen, ich bin Meister Lenze and you're watching Get Germanized, Berlin versus Munich.
I am bored, what should I do?
Ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
I get this question a lot. Is Berlin or is Munich the best city to live in Germany? How do they compare? Which one should I choose? Today I'm gonna take you on a ride through the German countryside while talking about both cities, but since I have not really lived in either, I'm just gonna, well, give you experience from other people that have. But of course I will also give you my personal experience from visits there. This will happen at the end of the video. Let's get started. Lasst uns anfangen. Munich, München. The economy. For a long time, the Ruhrgebiet in the north of Germany was the economic heart of Germany. The south, where Munich is situated, had some problems to attract a lot of business. This has changed. Now the south and especially Munich are global powerhouses. Living costs are extremely high in Munich. You will find that a normal salary will not bring you far there. Especially rents are expensive. A one-room apartment can be up to 1,200 euros or more. If you go there, make sure that you earn enough. Many corporations, be it big or small, are having a presence in Munich. Getting a job should be much easier than in other parts of Germany. The jobless rate is around 3.9%, which means in economic terms almost everyone has a job. The people in the south of Germany are much more reserved and conservative, as for example people from Berlin. It will be much tougher for you to find good friends quickly. Parties and clubs will also be much more expensive there than in other places of the country. Also, Munich is not as multicultural as you might expect. Munich has two world-class universities, so it's probably the best place to be an ambitious student. It is the seat of numerous world-class German companies such as BMW and Siemens. It's a former royal capital, now the state capital of Bavaria, with all that you would expect architecturally. However, much of it is rebuilt from the war. It's right next to the Alps, its airport is a major European airport, and it is also near Italy, Austria and Switzerland. And it is famous for its beer garden culture. The Bavarian cuisine is excellent, the unemployment rate is low and salaries are high. On the negative side, many people thoroughly dislike the mentality in Munich and find it too strict, too obsessed with rules, too organized and too clean. Also, night owls beware, Munich is only one of the 3 cities that sleeps. No 24-hour weekend public transport, strict evening closing hours, etc. Munich has a far superior infrastructure in many ways, public transportation, internet and so on. The universities are better and different than Berlin's. They have an international reputation. Munich is safer, cleaner and more stable. Munich has the higher overall quality of life as judged by, for example, Mercer. Better economy, more jobs, more stable government, etc. It's more economically liberal than Berlin, it's easier to get a job in Munich and sometimes also to get by as an entrepreneur. Negative points about Munich: it's harder and takes longer to get started. Some people will gladly help you with getting started, but only if they think that you will stay a while and not leave the next day. Also, others might be the complete opposite and ignore you. There's not really just one type of Munich person. If you only come to Munich for a few months, you'll experience people being not as interested in you. Students are probably more open though. Housing is super expensive in Munich, and one thing that is really painful about the city, because so many people want to move there. Shops close at 8 p.m. However, there are excellent delivery services, which are getting better and less expensive each day, which are not bound to the rule since no service providers are governed by the shop opening hours rule. Less socially liberal. Munich is not as liberal as Berlin, yet. This is changing though, and in 20 years the two cities might be equal in this area. Munich, however, is substantially more socially liberal than most of Bavaria. In a similar way, like Austin, is much unlike the rest of Texas. If you're looking for finding yourself and meaning in life, Berlin may be an easier choice since that is encouraged and tolerated. But if you live by the rule, work hard, play hard, Munich will make you happier. The culture and economics in Munich highly reward you if you are self-aware and good at your job. But you won't make it very long here if you're not able to perform professionally at a decent level. Munich is a very beautiful city with its unobstructed panoramic views of the Bavarian Alps. During the summer months in Munich you'll have access to the Isar River, where you can enjoy a nice bike stroll or stop at a beer garden. The food in Munich is expensive and there aren't as many international cuisines compared to Berlin. However, if you're a beer lover, Munich wins in this category for its selection of beers, hence Oktoberfest. There are more craft beers in Berlin though. And if you are a coffee fanatic, Berlin has the best coffee. Also, if you're vegetarian, Berlin is probably the better choice here, even though Munich is getting better and better at this as well. While the unemployment rate in Munich is lower, it is definitely harder to land a job with a big name company if you don't have any experience in Germany, or if you're Deutsch, your German isn't at a good level yet. Some people are definitely able to land a good job without knowing any German though. Munich doesn't have as many huge parks, besides the Schloss Nymphenburg or the Englischer Garten. Also, you would need to have a car to get around to the Alps. For some, Munich is much easier to like and enjoy as a tourist. It's a large and bustling city with a cute old town and many beautiful medieval, Gothic and Baroque buildings that tourists generally expect from Europe. It's the world capital with a cute historical site that makes it so much easier to visit and get a quick feel for the old and modern Germany. Berlin. The economy in Berlin was struggling for a long time. It was known to be a bit poorer than the rest of Germany, especially because it was cut off from the rest of West Germany for a long time and it had difficulties competing with West Germany after unification. This is changing now. More and more startups and venture capitalists are calling Berlin their home. The Berlin administration is also doing a good job promoting the city. The living costs in Berlin are much lower than in comparison with Munich. You will find a lot of affordable housing, also other things like food and so on will be more affordable there. Especially startups are providing a lot of job opportunities, but in general salaries will be lower than what you could expect in Munich. Also, there are not as many opportunities outside of the startup world, at least if you compare it to Munich. When it comes to parties, Berlin is clearly the winner. Berlin is very tolerant and multicultural and has a long history of a great party scene. Nowadays, people from all over the world are coming to Berlin to get a glimpse of the great atmosphere you will find there. If you have a job in hand, the concerns against living in Berlin go away. Rents are cheap, but salaries aren't that great either. It is a culturally rich city, the world capital of electronic music, many anarchists/hippies, and also thoroughly unemployable people live there. And it is a truly large metropolis on par with Paris or London. There are numerous parks all over the city, and Berlin is probably the only capital city in the world where you can play beach volleyball in front of the seat of government. Berlin is also close to Poland and the Czech Republic. On the negative side, the unemployment rate is fairly high. Also, living costs are going up since many people move there for the cool factor. You'll also find many tourists taking pictures of literally anything. Public transport is plentiful, but still not as fantastic as in other cities. Berlin is also intense. Expect to find people everywhere around you, all the time. In comparison to other European cities, Berlin is rather dirty. As mentioned before, prices are going up. You will still find a room for about 300 euros a month, but your expectations should be low. Many people say it is a little bit funky, liberal, socialist, and with a touch of Western Asian influence. In short, Berlin is easier for immigrating to Germany and more culturally diverse. Berlin gets a lot of attention and is clearly the hippest city. In Berlin there are many vegetarian restaurants in every kiez. This is the Berlin word for neighborhood. Also, there are weekly city markets where you can buy a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables for under 30 euros a week. Berliners, the people of Berlin, are mostly welcoming, open-minded and very liberal people. It is also very foreigner-friendly, since if you don't speak German, it is definitely not a problem, since most people speak English. But if you want to experience what is considered the typical German culture, Berlin might not be for you. Berlin is also largely considered one of the art capitals of Europe. If you're an artist, you will have an easy time finding like-minded people and many galleries. With a population of over 3.5 million, Berlin is larger and more widespread than Munich, and it is constantly reinventing itself. A trip here might involve a bit more of an open mind and a higher dose of energy to get the most of it. You can see the city like a local, rent one of the many bikes available, or just go around on foot. And now, my personal opinion. I visited Berlin many times and also have a lot of friends there. What I liked about the city is that even though it is very busy, you can find a lot of quiet spots there. Many lakes, water in general, and just beautiful scenery all over. For example, one of my favorite spots is the large and empty Tempelhof airfield. Here you can ride around on your skateboard, bike, or just, well, walk. I have also made many videos about me being in Berlin and about what to do in Berlin, and I'll link them for you in the video description. When it comes to Munich, I've only been a couple of times during the Oktoberfest and on a class trip many years ago. Even though I enjoy the city, I found it to be quite expensive and maybe less welcoming than Berlin. I remember someone calling me a Saupreis. That's the German Bavarian word for someone from the north. They did this when they thought I wasn't listening. But of course, I mean, it could have been just a joke. But who knows? I've also made videos at the Oktoberfest and, well, in Munich during my time there. They will also be linked in the video description. So to conclude, I think Berlin is definitely my favorite city, even though I did enjoy my time in Munich. But I would like to know which city you prefer. Let me know in the comments below and tell me why you prefer, well, Berlin or Munich. If you found this video helpful, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and consider supporting me on patreon.com/getgermanized and becoming part of the Germelite. Those are the people that make regular videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday possible. Thank you so much if you decide to do this. If not, no worries. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.